Hi guys, how are you today? I'm doing awesome. Um, I know we're supposed to talk about menopause today, and I'll get there eventually. But I wanted to share the story of Jennifer because I'm sure you all want to know the story of Jennifer. Well, in April of 1963 in Dallas, Texas, I was born. I was born 7 pounds 2 ounces at 4:35 in the morning. Uh, I was born perfect and special and the joy of my parents' life, I'm sure. I was the youngest of three. Um, it was normal. I grew up. Everybody has their issues, and we're gonna talk about the growing up part and going through different stages of our female life. Um, so I grew up, went to school at 11. Um, I developed fast. Um, Yeah, I developed that. So been about the same size since I was 11. I remember my mom took me to the doctor thinking I was going to be an Amazon. I was going to be a massive child. And the doctor said, she's probably not going to be as big as you are. And mom's like, I can't believe that. Well, I think I got about an inch taller than my mom. But at 11, I started my period. Was lucky enough to have an older sister, so not that she shared her experience with me, but at least I knew about it. It wasn't a total shock to my system. So, you know, of course, when we start our period, we think we're all grown up, and then we want to shave our legs and do all the girly crap, not realizing that, boy, we can't wait for it to start, and then we don't want it anymore. Um, okay, so you go through our years. So every month you have that wonderful period and you have the cramps. Now, I was lucky. I was always an active kid, so I didn't have the terrible cramps and the terrible bloating, or I didn't notice it. Now, my oldest daughter did have terrible cramps, bedridden for a couple days just before her periods, just miserable, um, and the mood miserable too. And that's one of the points I want to get to. We had, whenever you started your period, we have so many years of preparation and practice for menopause. On, when we're cranky and bitchy and sad before our period or during our period, that's kind of what menopause is. So it's kind of like practices for all of these years before we get there. So we'll pass our 11-year-old Jennifer and we'll go on to get married. I got married at 24. I think it was 23 and had Maddie at 24, or my oldest at 24. You already experienced, I already shared my childbirth experience, so that it was miserable, and you have to go through it, and you got to use it, and all the things. And then 2 years later, I had my second, and then I got divorced, and then 10 years later, 9 years, I get remarried and have my third child. So when I had my last one, I was 36, almost 37, and I was done. I was done having kids. I think I was done. And then I started going through perimenopause about 47, when I had a minor female surgery, and then it kind of kicked things into gear. And back then, some of you know, I taught a lot of classes. I own my own fitness center, and I probably taught, at the time I started going through menopause, probably 4 classes a day. I don't mean that to be bragging, because in no way, nobody should work out 4 times a day. That's stupid. But that's what I did for work. That's what I did to raise my kids. So I taught a lot and I sweated a lot. And so when menopause hit, it hit me differently. I'm not the best person to talk about this because my experience with it was different than I'm sure a lot of people's. Everybody is different. My periods were easier. Menopause it wasn't fun. It's like you turn into an entirely different person. You're not the same person that you were. Chemically, you are not the same person that you were. And I think the problem that we have as women is, and our lovely husbands and family, expect us to be the same person. And we're not. We need to be nicer to ourselves and accept that this is a huge process that our body is going through. And we need to manage it the best that we can. And what I mean by that is show yourself some grace. You may gain some weight. You may be irritable. You may be tired. You may be sweaty. You may be uncomfortable in your own skin, definitely. But we're strong, and we knew it was coming. The doctors don't completely tell you the truth unless you have a female doctor that is willing to share. But we know our body's changing, and we can't stop it. We can't pretend like it's not happening and go about our life and pretend we're the same person, because we're not. So give yourself some grace and just take it one day at a time. And the people around you, you're entitled to be a bitch if you want to be a bitch. You don't have to be perfect all the time. Trust me, I'm definitely not perfect all the time. But as far as hot flashes, yeah, I remember I'm gonna say this and you're gonna hate me. I had a few of them. I remember feeling like my head was gonna pop off, but I feel like that when I get really angry. So it wasn't just combine that with premenstrual cramps or premenstrual syndrome. That's how I felt. And what helped me was being active and working out. I know that's not for everybody. After 43 years in the fitness industry, I have come to the realization that not everybody works out, and they don't feel guilty about it. They just don't work out. They don't care to work out. I understand that. As now that I'm older, I understand it more. So it did help, but you don't have to go to the gym and work out. You can walk, go bike riding, do whatever you want to do. Run. I won't find me running, but if you want to run, whatever you want to do just to stay active. And don't think about it so much. Don't put pressure on yourself and say, I'm acting differently. Yeah, you are acting differently. You are different. You're not the same person that you were before you went through menopause. So don't expect yourself to be. Your personality is going to change. Your body is going to change. And that was harder for me to take, because I was always in charge. With as much as I worked out, I was always in charge of my body, and I could basically make it respond how I wanted it to respond. And when you go through menopause, your body has a mind of its own. It's going to do what it wants to do, and you don't have any control over it. So all you can do is the best that you can do. Be more active, eat a little bit better. And one thing I will say, when it comes to gaining weight during menopause, the best bang for your buck, if you're gonna want to stay fit or look good naked, is strength training. Heavy strength training will help immensely. It'll also help your mental. But not everybody, I understand not everybody's gonna do that. So as far as dieting and being more active, that can help. But like I said, your body is different. It's going to do what it wants to do. Let it do it. When you're postmenopausal, you can do more things and become more active or make changes to your body. Um, One of the other things, the biggest thing that did affect me was how it changed my sex life. I know that's blunt, isn't it? Isn't that direct? Oh, my mother would be shocked. Yeah, it makes sex uncomfortable. And I think it all depends on your relationship that you're in, um, as to how you get through it. If they're accepting and helpful, you can still have a good sex life. Um, is it rewarding? Um, a good sex life. If they're not, if they're unhappy because you've gained weight, or you're moody, or you're tired a lot, if they're not understanding, your sex life is going to definitely be affected. Um, well, your sex life with them is going to be directly affected. Your sex life by yourself doesn't necessarily have to be affected, or I guess with other people. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about that. But yeah, so sex life change. Make sure if, again, bluntness, dryness is a problem, that you use a healthy lubricant and not something that's going to harm you even more or cause more damage to you than already exists. Um, so my thought process on menopause, and thanks so very much for the question, wanting me to talk about it, is show yourself some grace. You know, we are rock stars, we're goddesses, and our bodies is capable of amazing things. It is going to change. Let it change, and you change along with it. You don't have to be the same person. Reinvent yourself then. Become what you've always wanted to be. It doesn't mean that because we don't have periods anymore, or we aren't a uh, childbirthing age, that we are done. Our lives are not over. That part, which is a hard part and a rewarding part, but a hard part, is over. We don't have to do that anymore. It's like a vacation from that part of our life, a permanent vacation, a retirement. Well, retirement is in my life. Okay, a couple years ago, um, I've been in the fitness industry for 43 years, and I've owned my own gym for, it'll be 21 years in October. And back in 2003, I decided to sell the gym because I was burned out, and I had some neck problems, so it was hurt to be really active. So I sold the gym. I sold it to a friend of mine, great guy, and he ran the gym. And about 9 months after, he calls me and says, "Jennifer, you want to buy the gym back?" And I go, "I want to retire. There's a reason I sold it. I want to retire." He goes, "No, really, do you want to buy the gym back?" I go, so my oldest daughter says, "Yeah, we want to buy the gym back." And I really wanted her to keep it in the family, and for her to have it. So we bought the gym back. And, you know, I did it, and I've talked about this a little bit, with when I did it for the first 19 years, I did it all by myself, everything. And yeah, I pat myself on the back, but it was hard, because I didn't have anybody to help me put everything together or do all those things that suck. And open a business, it's great, it's fun. It can be, but it's difficult. So anyway, I bought the gym back. So I failed at retirement. I failed at retirement. I tried to retire, sold the gym, come back. Now I'm working again. What the hell was I thinking? Okay, I was thinking that I enjoy being active, and I enjoy talking to people because it's more fun than being alone. Although I love my dogs, um, it gets a little bit monotonous day after day of doing the same thing. And the time goes super fast when you retire. Well, time goes super fast anyway. You know, thinking back to when I was 11, and then when I had my kids, it seems like it was just yesterday, and that's been forever freaking ago. I'm getting old. So I'm back to work, and I will. I failed at retirement, and I will probably never retire again. In fact, I've basically started 2 new businesses since I bought the gym back. I'll never retire now. But anyway, that's my take on menopause. It's a fact of life. We got to do it. Show yourself some grace and ease through it. And you notice I didn't talk about hormone replacement, and I didn't talk about supplements or anything like that, because where I am in my life and how I feel about the healthcare industry is I don't trust anything. And I'm sorry to say that, but I didn't want to take hormone replacement because I didn't know what the long-term effects would be. And my menopause wasn't bad, so I didn't have to do that. I know that some of my best friends have had really positive experience with hormone replacement therapy. So if that's what you need, but just like everything else, nothing's a miracle cure. You know, we're not 19, we're not 20, we're not going to feel like we did when we were that young. We're going to have aches and pains, we're going to get tired, we're going to be grumpy. That's how it is, and as expected, and we deserve it, and we deserve to not be judged or so hard on ourselves for being that way. So if you want to go through hormone replacement therapy, research it. That's all I beg of you. You know, get an opinion, get a second opinion, research it, because it can cause harm. It can help. Um, you have to be the judge of that. What's right for you? Uh, you know, I was talking. I'm always talking to somebody, but and I say that, and people go, "Oh," in like I just got done teaching class, and we had 6 ladies in there, and we're yak 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 yak. You know, I may go back tonight and talk to 50 more people, and yak yak yak. So I hear everybody's opinion about everything, and as you can tell, I'm not shy, so I talk a lot. Um, we were discussing information and how, when this little thing that we have here, I'm on my iPad right now, the computer got here because I was born without a computer, and or cell phone, for God's sakes. What did we do before then? Um, and when the internet came, I was like, this is great. All of this information is right at our fingertips. All we got to do is go look for what we want. Well, that's kind of morphed into, unfortunately, any answer that you want to find online, you can find online, even if it's not true. But if you are smart about it and you research things, there is so much information out there. Yet, I talk to people all the time, and they'll ask me basic questions. It's like, get online and search for yourself and make your own decisions, because all that information is just right at your fingertips. Google. I know you don't all like AI. It's great for some things, and that's a whole nother subject we'll get on another time. Um, but you can ask it a simple question, and it will give you all the data on it, and relatively, hopefully, somewhat, possibly true. Well, that gets off on a whole nother subject too. The fact that it's where we haven't been told the truth in a lot of situations through our lives, from um, obviously from my mom, from Frances, but also the government, from schools, from churches, from everybody. Um, there's a lot. I question things a lot. Um, and the more research I do, the more questions I have. So educate yourself. Use this wonderful computer system that you have. Um, or your phone, if you want to use your phone. If your eyes are still good enough to use your phone to look up stuff, go ahead and do that. But getting back to menopause, show yourself some grace. Love yourself. Women are awesome and we're capable of amazing things. Our body isn't made to do those amazing things its whole length. You go through your phases. We go through our adolescence and our youth, and then we go through our period times, and then our childbearing times, and then our child rearing times, and then our menopause times. I think it's a way for the universe to be telling us that we need to focus on ourselves and accept ourselves. It's not, we're done having to worry about taking care of everybody else. It's time to take care of yourself. On that note, I am going to get off this and I'm going to go outside and enjoy the sunshine. Um, July in Indiana. It's beautiful. Love you guys. You have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.